Ciao a tutti, Stefano here, and in this video I'm gonna talk about the mirror manipulation, how we can manipulate this mirror in order to achieve our goals and dreams. Now, I have talked about the mirror principle in my last video, so if you haven't checked it out, just click the link here and go and check it out. If you don't wanna check it out, I'm gonna explain you in a few words what the mirror principle is. The mirror principle is, like a mirror in your toilet, in your room, whatever it is. It reflects the image that you put out there. So in reality, the mirror reflects your face, right? Your body. In this case, your image is your thoughts, your behavior, everything you put out there. Okay. So if you put negativity out there, you will attract more negativity. If you put more positive energy, you will attract positive energy. If you complain in life, you will get more things to complain in life. I hope that makes sense. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the mirror principle, how you can manipulate it, and how you can change this image, right? I will tell you what's wrong, why so many people are getting this wrong. Okay, so please make sure you stay until the end of this video, because this is going to be great and you will really see the change in yourself. We can manipulate the reflection of the mirror the way we want, but the problem is that most people are trying to manipulate by changing the reflection, as I said, by changing the image, right? But it doesn't work like that. Well, it works like that, but this means working hard all the time, like everybody say. In order to achieve success, you need to work 12 hours a day and be a social. That's stupid, right? You have one life, and I know, that's what they tell you, that you need to be out of the world for a few years in order to be a successful coach, for example, right? But what these principles are teaching us is that we can, instead of doing the work, instead of working hard, we can just let reality do the work. We can just let reality form the image first, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to do that. Now, I'm not saying that taking action is wrong. So if you are watching this video and you say, oh, what is this guy saying? So I shouldn't work hard anymore, I shouldn't take action. No, taking action, massive action, is really important as well, all right? But as I said in one of my videos as well, it's important to take smart action instead of massive action, okay? So how do we change the image? Now, please remember that, because that's very important, and it's something that when I first read about, I was like, oh my God, that makes sense. So the mirror of reality, that mirror that reflects yourself, okay, does not care about the nature of your thoughts. Remember that. But reflects the purified content of your thoughts. Okay, so it cares about the content of your thoughts. It doesn't care about the thoughts themselves. It cares about the quality, the content. Okay, so for example, you say, I want 10K a month. If you really believe it, you will get that, right? If you say, I don't want to go to this job, and you complain, then you're going to get more job. If you say, oh, I don't want to study, then you're going to get more things to study for. You form the image in the mirror through your attitude, through your feelings, through your attitude. All right, remember that. So, for example, okay, when let's say you learn all about this. You learn that you don't need to put negativity out there, but one day you just, you are a bit negative and you say, oh shit, I've been negative today. Now, by doing this, okay, you are being negative about that, about not being positive, right? So you always react to that, right? It reflected that, right? Like, you didn't want to be negative, but you have been negative, and now you are being negative because you you didn't want to be negative, okay? So you act negatively to negative thoughts. I hope that makes sense. I think I did a bit of confusion here. But I repeat, you act negatively to negative thoughts. So even if you are trying to be positive, but then one day you are not positive, you are negative, you get angry because that day you were not positive, okay? So this creates continuous chain, and you don't know, you are not aware about that. That's really powerful. That's really serious, you know, because we don't really notice that, right? I mean, if you think about when you have a deadline, okay, and you say, "Oh, look, I need to finish to write my program to, create the slides of my program at the end of this week." Okay, but something happened and you can't finish the slides of your program. So whatever, the deadline is gone, you get angry about it. You are negative about it. So now you are being negative because you missed the deadline, even if you knew that being negative is bad. All right. So you're being negative about the negative thoughts that you had about, not finishing on the deadline, right? So be aware of that. It's really important, right? Now this takes us to another concept of reality mirror, right? Now the reflection that you create by the unity, that you create in the future, it creates from the unity of earth and mind. And now you would say, what is that? Now this is another concept which Vadim Zeland in the book Reality in Transsurfing is, putting out there for us to learn. And, it means in a few words, I will make a video about that as well, because it's really important. And that's what we do in my program as well. We help to reach the unity between earth and mind. And I'm going to explain you a bit what is it. No, it's easy. Wherever you have a goal, wherever you're doing some decisions, right? The mind is always following the logic, okay? The earth is a bit, it's a bit hard to understand. So if you feel a bit, that inner tension and discomfort inside, that comes from somewhere, but you are a bit anxious about this goal and you don't feel like comfortable, then probably it means that that's not your goal. Probably it means that that's not the goal you want to achieve. Okay, it's very powerful, and once you learn about that, you are more aware of, you are more aware of the voice of the earth, right? Because many times the mind has a lot of noise. The mind is, in our mind, there is always noise. The noise of our thoughts. We always think, right? And so the voice of the earth is a bit, it's not as loud as the mind, okay? So every time there is something wrong and the heart tells the mind, look, that's not a great thing to do, the mind says, shut up, that's not your job, go and go back to sleep, So when you create the unity between earth and mind, you can take more great decisions. That's it. Okay? Now, if the feeling is great, if the feeling when you're doing something isn't great, that means you have some intuition. Now, intuition comes from our heart. That's the voice of our heart, intuition. Okay? So every time you feel something, that's your intuition that is trying to tell you something, but it's very hard to understand, right? So you have to be really careful to listen to that voice that comes from your heart. Now, saying that, most of the time, what people are focusing is what they don't want, right? Instead of what they want. And of course, you probably heard about this already. But the point is, this is a really serious thing, because sincerely, me too, when I wake up in the morning sometimes, during the day, I find myself, focusing on what I don't want instead of what I want, right? And this is very bad, because every time you focus on what you don't want, guess what happens? You attract what you don't want. Okay, so instead of getting angry when you find yourself focusing on what you don't want, because if you become angry when you find yourself focusing on what you don't want, what are you doing? Is you're just creating more negative. You are being negative about this, right? About being negative in that moment, about being, about thinking about what you don't want. So be careful. So instead of getting angry, just understand, be aware of that, and say, okay, that's what I don't want. Let's focus on what I want. Now, I was thinking about what I don't want, so what I want, right? Because sometimes, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work, and today I don't want to cook, I don't want to do my laundry, right? So I find myself focusing on what I don't want, instead what I want, right? Okay, I need to do some YouTube videos, right? That's what I want. Oh, I want to get a client today. That's it. Let's do it, okay? So with that, I conclude this video, and I want to just add something else, right? At the end of the day, at the end of, every day or during the day, just ask yourself, am I thinking about what I want, or I'm focusing on what I don't want? And every time you find yourself focusing on what you don't want, think again and think about what you want. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I know probably it was a bit confusing, but it's a very, very serious, very important subject if you can understand this and focus on what you don't want instead of what you don't want. And that's how you can manipulate the mirror, by changing the image of it, right? And by changing the image, you will reflect it a positive thing, in your life, positive things in your life. So I hope you got something from that video. And again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go and subscribe. I would be really grateful for that. And with that, I conclude, and I'll see you on next one. Thank you so much.